March is about to get a little unhinged. Creating a dragon. I mean, say less. Some of these people, they're going wackadoo. I genuinely appreciate it. I'm nervous. But that's another story. That's for another day. And if you've been around for a while, you know how I feel about a floppy paperback. I think I'm unhinged. Hello my friends, welcome back to the channel. So today it's all about March and what March is going to look like, and I hope you are prepared because March is about to get a little unhinged. Today's video is my March reset. So I know that I have not been around much last part of February, and again I only kind of sort of apologized for that. I wasn't in the best headspace, my heart wasn't in it, and I'm not willing to force myself to do this if it's not going to be something I'm happy with in the end. There's that. I am back. I'm really excited for March because we have some really awesome things planned and I'm stoked. And so March is going to be a little different. March is going to be just focused on a readathon that I am doing. I'm not going to pull from my TBR jars. We're not going to add any craziness to an already crazy thing. So why don't we just go ahead and get right into it? So like I said, we're focusing this month on just our bookwormathon, which is a readathon that was planned by some of my friends that I talk to on a regular basis, and the group of us are just kind of doing a fun readathon that will likely have several different parts throughout the year, but this part in particular is just creating a dragon. I mean, say less. So we are partaking on a journey in which our characters that we create end up with some kind of dragon egg. How you get that dragon egg is kind of up to you, but you end up with a dragon egg. And so then what we're doing for the readathon is the prompts match different affinities or different looks or different magic or different things that your dragon can have. For the first part, just for March, we're focusing on basically the basics. Should you choose to go more unhinged with this, that is up to you. I have been told I am not an unhinged type of person. I know what I am capable of. I'm gonna move you a little closer. And what I am not capable of, and I am not capable of going unhinged like that in 1 month. Reading more than 8 books a month for me that's an awesome month. Some of these people, they're going wackadoo. They're fully unhinged, but good for them. Good for them. We're all excited. We've all been talking about this for a really long time since it was brought to our attention, and everybody has been planning and planning and planning for this because we've had so much time to do so, which I genuinely appreciate. Ladies, I genuinely appreciate it. And so here we are, we're creating this dragon. I'm not gonna get into all the lore, the backstory, all of it. It's not gonna happen. And so we're creating a dragon. And then probably like July or something, we'll have our first big adventure with said dragon. You get it? You get it? In the beginning, so basically what the prompts kind of look like is you pick your dragon breed, whether I have my laptop here because, dude, I can't remember all this stuff by myself. I need help. I need assistance. And so that is what my computer is. It is a PA. It is a personal assistant to me. So the first thing you really have to do is you have to figure out your dragon breed. Is it going to be a dragon? Is it going to be a wyvern? Is it going to be a worm? And then your dragon's element, which is kind of like what I guess they were saying it's like their astrology sign, what they're born under. And so you have earth, air, fire, water. And then birthplace. Are they born in a desert? Are they born in a forest? Are they born in some ice-covered dune? I don't know. So you have all kinds of options that you can work with. And then then you have like the physical traits. Do they have horns? What color are their scales? What color are their eyes? What color do they have? Tail spikes? Do they have scars from battles? That kind of thing. And then you have personality traits. So basically it's like you need to figure out what your dragon's personality is going to be like. And for that prompt, it's like either read a book that has like the title is a personality type, or read a book with characters that have the personality traits that you want your dragon to have. You have their affinities: element breathing, element manipulation, shape-shifting, telepathy, physical strength, speed, dark arts. Like, they're giving you all kinds of options. So this is where people start to get really unhinged because they want their dragon to have every single one of these affinities. That's a book per affinity. I honey, I'm still having fun. Don't think I'm not. So then, in order to officially like register your dragon, you have to read a book by one of your favorite authors. So pretty easy, right? Then all of these other like classes come in. Like you can get different classifications: class A, class W, class N, and class L. And so each of those classes is also a different prompt. And so they're giving us this opportunity to do like the basis of our dragon. So basically, is it a dragon, a wyvern, or a worm? What's the scale colors? You know, what's an affinity for it? You know, so I only have to read 7 books for the first round of this. We have until our next big event, whenever that is, probably July, to get other affinities if we want, to get all of these class things if we want, and add that to our dragon. But we have to do the basis in the month of March in order to register your dragon, in order to participate in July. Yes, we were discussing today how it sounds like we should just all be playing D&D. We're also doing all kinds of fun stuff during the month. So it's not like we're all just reading these books and going, oh look, I have a dragon. I have AI generated a dragon. I will show you later. We have AI generated, everybody has AI generated their dragon and AI generated their character. We have all made up stories, like legit character arcs for our characters and for our dragons. We have just kind of fallen in love with this as a prospect and as an opportunity. And so yes, are we unhinged? Absolutely. But we're also book nerds, and this is just a way to make reading even more fun. I love readathons. I love month-long readathons. I loved themed readathons, which is why I participate in the magical readathon. That's like the only other book I'm gonna read is the one for the magical readathon. So yes, I will also be doing that one single book, which I will share with you, because this is our March planning visit. This is our visit when I tell you what I'm doing for the month of March. Let me get into the books for you that I've picked. I gotta pull up my TBR because y'all, it's a lot. We are also doing a buddy read, and the buddy read for this is Aragon by Christopher Paolini. And I read Aragon eons ago. Like, I feel like it was like in another 2 centuries ago. And so I am going to be rereading it. And that is actually, I'll put it up here, the book that I'm going to be read for the dragon breed prompt is basically to read a book with a dragon on it. And if you want a dragon, so that's what I'm doing, because I want a dragon. So we're going to read it. I'm going to read Aragon. I don't have a physical copy of that. The rest of them I have physical copies for, or I can get from the library. If you should use all of your own TBR and go to the library, you don't buy a book for this readathon. You get a classification later down the road. And that's easy because I have so many books I still have to read. So then for my dragon's element, I chose fire. And the prompt for that is to read like a thriller or a horror, and this has been sitting on my shelf for far too long. So I'm gonna read Mexican Gothic by Silvia Moreno Garcia. This is a Gothic horror novel that is about an isolated mansion in 1950s Mexico. You're following Naomi. She receives a suspicious kind of letter from her cousin who was just recently married to a man, and he's not a great guy. He doesn't seem like a great guy, and so she gets a letter from her cousin and rushes off to try to help, but then her cousin's like, I didn't write you a letter, I don't know what you're talking about. And so she has to figure out like what's going on, what's happening behind the scenes, that kind of thing. And she ends up having these very strange dreams about blood and doom and all of those things. So we got ourselves a nice little Gothic horror going on, which I'm very excited for because I've heard wonderful things about this book. I just have not had a chance to really read it. So now I have a chance. I will also say that some of these books on my TBR, I purposely picked short ones because there's also beasts that I have to read. Very big books if I have to read. The next book I picked My Dragon Will Be Coming from the Forest. So I will be reading a book that has a forest kind of setting, and that is An Enchantment of Ravens by Margaret Rogerson. I have not read this book yet. I'm excited to read this book. I've heard wonderful things about this book. It is about a woman named Isabel who is a painter, and she makes paints for the fair folk. They cannot bake bread or put a pen to paper without crumbling to dust. They crave human craft with a terrible thirst, and they trade valuable enchantments for Isabel's paintings. But when she receives her first royal patron, Rook, an autumn prince, Isabel makes a deadly mistake. She paints mortal sorrow in his eyes and weakness that could cost him his throne and even his life. Furious, Rook spirits Isabel away from his to his kingdom to stand trial for her crime, but something is seriously amiss in this world, and they are attacked from every side. With Isabel and Rook depending on each other for survival, their alliance blossoms into trust, perhaps even love. A forbidden emotion that would violate the fair folk's ruthless laws, rendering both their lives forfeit. What force could Isabel's paintings conjure that is powerful enough to defy the ancient malice of the fairy courts? I am excited. I love a good fae romance. So that is that. And then for physical traits, the first one I'm doing is his scale color, most of his scale color, because I have plans. And so most of his scale color will be red, so you have to read a book with that color, whatever you want their scale colors to be on the cover. And so I will be reading Scythe, that has red on it, and it has been on my TBR for far too long. There's like, I think this trilogy, the whole series is now finished, and so I'm good to go. So this is a world with no hunger, no disease, no war, no misery. Humanity has conquered all those things and has even conquered death. Now scythes are the only ones who can end life, and they are commanded to do so in order to keep the size of the population under control. Citra and Rowan are chosen to apprentice to a scythe, a role that neither wants. These teens must master the art of taking life, knowing that the consequence of failure could mean losing their own. They learn living in a perfect world comes only with a heavy price. I love stories like this. Like, I love fantasy. I love like sci-fi. I love futuristic kind of stories, and so I'm really excited to read this and then to get into the rest of the series. And then for personality traits, what I picked up Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I have read Six of Crows. This is what I mean by big boys. I have some beasts. I've read Six of Crows. I loved Six of Crows. I have not finished the duology yet. And so the reason I picked this book is because if you've ever read Six of Crows, you know that the characters in the book are sarcastic, they're snarky, they're thieves, it's like a little found family, they kind of love each other in a weird kind of way, and so that is why I picked this one, because if there were personality traits I would want my dragon to have, it would be similar to the characters in this book. I want him to be kind of snarky and sarcastic. I want him to be fun. I also want him to be witty, and I want him to make jokes, and I want him to be like the golden retriever of dragons. Think toothless. So yeah, I'm picking up this one. I'm not going to give you the synopsis of this one because it's the second part of a duology. I'm not going to spoil it for you, but just know that the first one is a group of people going on a grand adventure, and this is the follow-up to that. There you go. That's all you need to know. So then for the first affinity, and I say that because I'm going to share another set of books with you that finish up what my dragon is really going to be like, I picked Fire Breathing. And so obviously, if you think about how this is going, if you want your dragon to be able to breathe fire, then you need to do something with fire or flame or something on the cover. And so I'm going to pick up another beastly book that I have been kind of, not gonna lie, avoiding because of the mixed reviews. And that's Iron Flame. I'm gonna pick up Iron Flame. Like I said, it is a beast, it is a big boy, and I'm nervous because I really enjoyed Fourth Wing, and I really don't want to not like Iron Flame. And not to mention there's dragons in this book. What better book to read for a dragon readathon than a book with a bunch of dragons in it? We're gonna read this. I'm not gonna give you a synopsis because go read Fourth Wing. And yeah, so this is the sequel to Fourth Wing. So I'll be reading this one in order for my dragon to have firepower. So then, last but not least, in order to register my dragon, I have to read from my favorite author, one of my favorite authors. I have read lots of books by this author. This is just one that I have not read yet, and it is Wolf Song by TJ Klune. So TJ Klune is one of my favorite authors. I love, one of my favorite books when anybody ever asks is House on the Cerulean Sea, Under the Whispering Door. I even really enjoyed Lives of Puppets. I have not read his teen series yet, his young adult middle grade extraordinary series, but I will. I just want to jump into this because it sounds intriguing. And basically it is the first book in another series of his, Wolfie. And it says, Wolf Song is Ox Matheson's story. Oxnard Matheson was 12 when his father taught him a lesson. Ox wasn't worth anything and people would never understand him. Then his father left. Ox was 16 when the energetic Bennett family moved in next door, harboring a secret that would change him forever. The Bennetts are shapeshifters. They can transform into wolves at will. Drawn to their magic, loyalty, and enduring friendships, Ox feels a gulf between his extraordinary new world and the quiet life he's known. But he finds an ally in Joe, the youngest Bennett boy. Ox was 23 when murder came to town and tore a hole in his heart. Violence flared, tragedy split the pack, and Joe left leaving Ox behind. 3 years later, the boy is back, except now he's a man, charming, handsome, and haunted, and Ox can no longer ignore the song that howls between them. This is literally says the Green Creek series is for adult readers. It is one of his adult books and one of his adult series. And I'm a huge fan of, I've always been a huge fan of shapeshifters, werewolves. Think Twilight. I was always like, ooh, werewolves. I also did like vampires at the time, but I didn't like Stephanie Meyer's version of vampires. But that's another story. That's for another day. I don't need to do that right now. I don't need to talk about that right now. So here we are. So there you have it. That is the bulk of my TBR for the month of March. So then another book I will have to try to fit in. I have to try to actually fit in 2 for the other year-long readathons I'm doing, which is another reason some of these books are so short, is I need to fit in The Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson, because for that's for the magical readathon. That is in order for me to remove a complex lock on a door in the dungeon that I am trapped in. And that is to read or continue a series that intimidates you. I've already read Mistborn, which is the first book in this series, and it does intimidate me. It is a lot, it is small, it's very floppy, but it's also just a lot. So I will be trying to fit that in as well in some shape or form, whether that is audio, physical, e-reader, whatever. I have the physical copy. I would like to read the physical copy because it is a floppy paperback, and if you've been around for a while, you know how I feel about a floppy paperback. If it ain't floppy, I don't want it. Also, I will need to read Delilah Green Doesn't Care. This actually fits into a prompt for the Bookwormathon, but also this is for the Buzzword-a-thon that I am doing as well. Buzzword for this one is a character name. And I've heard wonderful things about this book. Everybody has read it. Everybody has enjoyed it. Everybody tells me I should read it, so that's what I'm gonna do. And as you can see, the title has Delilah Green, who is a character in this book. So it fits the Buzzword-a-thon. So that's gonna be a busy month for me. After that, I'm not really gonna go crazy into the prompts that kind of match these other books that are for the Bookwormathon that I will have to read before July, which won't be hard. But they again are all books off my shelves, all books that I am looking forward to reading. They are all part of my lovely TBR, and they're all for like affinities, and I think so for eye color and horns. I know, it's so dramatic. For eye color and also some scale color. My dragon, what I'm picturing is a red dragon with teal scales, with some teal scales and teal eyes. And so for that, I will be doing Bring Me Your Midnights by Rachel Griffin. I love Rachel Griffin. I loved her other books. I can't wait to read this one. I'm not going to give you the synopsis because I've already been talking to you for almost 25 minutes. So that is for teal eyes, teal scale color. So for horns, you have to read something that has a prologue. So I picked This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. I have not read this duology by her. I have read pretty much everything else she has written, but I have not read this. And so this is what I'm doing, and it has a prologue in it, so it works. And then Delilah Green comes in for spellcasting. You have to read a book with LGBTQ rep. Delilah Green has LGBTQ rep. Other book I don't have is Indigo Ridge, which is you have to read a book with a first responder character, because this is in order for my dragon to be a healer. If I wanted to get into the whole detail about it, I would, but my character is a healer. She works with dragons, she works with people, she heals them, and so her dragon will also be a healer. So yes, that's for that. So that's Indigo Ridge. I want my dragon to have telepathy or telekinesis or something of that. I want to be able to communicate with my dragon, because that is something I loved about Fourth Wing, is that she can the writers can communicate with their dragons in their heads. And so for that, you have to read a book with clouds on the cover, and I will be reading The Hacienda by Isabel Canas. So I'm excited to read this one too. It's another like gothic horror kind of book, which I'm excited for. So then, I think I'm unhinged. So then the focus is on the class affinities that you can get. You can get writer classification. So again, class A, class W, class N, and class L. So in order to get a class L, it basically means you are reading owned books or books from your library. You're not buying anything. That's not a problem, as you can see. And then for class A, you want to read a book with an animal on the cover in order to get an animal companion. So I'm going to do Crazy Stupid Bromance because I love the Bromance Book Club books, and this has a cat on it. So there you go. Animal companion. And then for class W, you read, it gives you a weapon, so you have to read a book with a weapon on the cover. So I'm going to be doing Assistant to the Villain, and I'm going to be focusing on these lovely arrows right here, and we're going to do a bow and an arrow for my character. And then last but not least, you have to read a book with foiling on the cover in order to be considered like nobility. And so this is not a huge thing for me. If I do not get to this one, I will not be upset because Being Nobility is not high on my list, right? And that is Silver in the Bone by Alexandra Bracken. And I picked this one because this is all, you can't see it really, but it is shiny. It's got foiling up here, and it's a Fairy Loot copy. So, and this has foiling along the edges too. So yeah, there you have it. That is the plan for the Bookworm-a-thon. Now, like I said, this lovely stack of books that I am moving right here can come after the month of March. I have until July to read these. So that should not be a problem. And then I have to read this one anyway for the Buzzword-a-thon. So that one, and this is the stack of books that I am reading for the month of March for sure. So, wish me luck, my friends. Wish me luck. So there you have it. That is your March TBR. Like I said, I'm not doing any TBR polls because I already have a ton of books I have to read. It's gonna be fun. We're gonna have fun. This is gonna be fun. It's not gonna be overwhelming. We're gonna have fun. I'm gonna be unhinged, but it's gonna be fun. Anyway, so now what we're gonna do is what I always do in these lovely March resets is we gotta match the calendars. I have to make sure that my phone calendar matches the house calendar, which matches my planner, because I have 2 kids and a husband and they are all involved in all kinds of different things, and I am involved in different things. I have to do that. So come with me, won't you? Like, I'm giving you a choice though, like for real. If you don't want to come with me to do this part, by all means, scroll to the end to pretend like you viewed the whole video. Give it a like and then you can go. Otherwise, join me, won't you? friends. So welcome back to my face. So that is pretty much all I have for you. I have now set up my TBR for March. It is now on my TBR shelf right here, along with my dusting stuff, because I just dusted my desk. And we have matched all of my calendars. We have, you know, we're ready to go. And so yes, I realized I had said earlier that I would show you my dragon. So what I want my dragon to look like, I guess I should say, as I work my way through March. And so this is my little guy. His name is Ryoko, and I can't wait to tell you more about him as you join me in March for the bookwormathon, watching through me, and we make this little guy. We make him happen. Make him a little guy into a big guy, or from an egg into a big guy. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see what I can do. I'm trying. I'm gonna try. We're gonna try. All right. I hope you guys are having a really great day. I hope you guys have had a really great week. I hope you guys are living your lives to the absolute fullest. You are loving yourself unconditionally, and you are reading really, really great books. And I will catch you in the next video. Bye.